Hi guys, thanks for watching A Bloke Collecting Watches, and thought it would be really nice this year, beginning of 2022, to do an updated collection or an update on the collection so far, where we're at, what we've got, and maybe some ambition about what we want to do moving forward as well. But yeah, I've been collecting watches. If you've not tuned in before, this is a new video for you. I've been collecting watches for 12 to 13 years. Probably even more than that, actually. I bought my first watch in 2007 with a paycheck. I bought an IWC pilot's watch, and then it all kind of started from there. But it even started earlier. It started with my granddad's watch, who gave me, there's a video on the channel of when he gave me it when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And then I went to my first Seiko, and then kind of ever since 2007 my taste changed and I started buying Swiss, like we all do. They're really cool, and yeah, so kind of I'll show you the collection. Thought we'd do a little bit of a reveal as well, see what you think. So we've got a predominant collection is mainly of Rolex, I'll be honest with you, and then I do love Zenith as well. So, and there's a couple of more oddballs as well in this collection. So firstly, thank you very much for watching, and also just to let you know, I'm not some kind of collector that I've just bought in a year. This has taken 10 years plus, well, in 12 years really, of trading, upgrading. I've made some silly sales as well, which I'll bore you to death with, but it's taken a while to kind of get to this situation. It's not just something that I've done over a 12-18 month period, because I get the feeling that in the last 2 or 3 years people are just going a bit crazy, really, particularly for the kind of stainless steel models. So yeah, I've always been a fan. I try and have a bit of a diverse range. I know it is focused around Rolex, but ever since last year, 2021, with the pandemic, in 2020, sorry, the kind of these models have become so hard to get now in terms of their availability. I have actually diversified and looked elsewhere, just because although I've got relationships with various ADs, it's just the supply is so restricted at the moment. There is no supply, so unless you're buying £1 million worth of jewelry or something, you are going to be quite limited to be getting kind of these types of pieces. But thank you anyway for watching, and we'll start off anyway. So I started buying 2007, 2008. I started with IWC, and then I kind of moved on. I bought a Panerai, I bought a Cartier Ballon Bleu, a Cartier, a Panerai 288, and a kind of a Breitling Navitimer, a stainless steel 46mm Breitling Navitimer. So I had kind of all the watches in my 20s, which were, I suppose, popular. You know, things like Breitlings, bigger watches, Panerais, etc. And over time, I suppose, like anything, your tastes, they tend to change, and I hone my collection more focused towards Rolex, for loads of reasons. I mean, one is obviously that they do retain value, but that's not just the only reason to buy a watch, but that is one of the reasons why I enjoy buying them, because at the time I was certainly buying and selling them a lot more than becoming maybe more of a collector than I am today. So yeah, it kind of got from there. I actually did have, and then you'll laugh, I did have a stainless steel Daytona as well, which I bought 8 years ago, before kind of all went crazy. I actually bought it from an authorised dealer, and sillily, but I had to do it. I had to sell it about 6 years ago to start my business. So there is a reason why I sold it, guys. I've not just sold it for profit. I actually sold it for a lot less than what they're kind of going for today. And then since then, I've regretted it. I've never been able to buy one since. And so what I've always done is gone, well, look, let's do what we can in terms of building the collection. So we'll kind of go in some form of chronological order. I think it's probably best, starting from kind of the oldest watch to the newest. But mainly, I started collecting Rolex stainless steel about 8 years ago. So yeah, very, very lucky, very privileged to have these types of watches. About 70% of these are bought from brand new ADs, so brand new, sorry, from ADs, and I'm very lucky. I've got a relationship with an AD, and I'm fortunate enough, like I say, to buy these. So it takes time, it takes It's not just about what you spend, it's about the relationship you've got with the ADs. It's about, you know, being human, going into them and actually, you know, having a good old chat, and then even talking to them about what type of strategy almost you want in terms of what they want to look at. So things like Rolex, for instance, my biggest thing was I didn't just want loads of stainless steel with black dials. So if you look at my collection of Rolex, which I'll just, hard to see with the light, but you have down here a GMT kind of root beer, CH&R. We all know it as a CH&R. A Datejust 2, so that's I bought that used. It was a really nice model, that is, and I fell in love with that because of the dial. A Milgauss Z Blue, a Yacht-Master 40mm in blue with the sunburst blue with the lollipop red hands. A 40mm, so just pre 41mm, so a 40mm 2000 and I think 18-19 Submariner. Explorer 1 39mm, Explorer 2 42mm. Love that with the polar. And then that there, it's hard to see there, guys, but that is actually a Sea Dweller 43, so the SD 43, the 50th anniversary. So yeah, so very privileged to own these. And I kind of, what I did with my Rolex selection is I wanted predominantly to have different dials. So like I was saying earlier, I didn't want just black subs and sub Sea Dwellers, and there are collectors out there that will just have kind of classic items. But things like the Milgauss, for instance, what a stunning watch that is. So this is actually one of my favorite watches. Tremendously undervalued at the moment, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, the used kind of prices, the grey market prices are obviously steadily increasing. They're about £9,500 to £10,000 now. I got this unworn. Very lovely watch, got a lovely weight to it. It's antique magnetic. I mean, it's supposed to, you know, withhold a 1,000 Gauss. I mean, no one really cares now. I bought it for the VGB, the glass vert, on this watch. So the green dial, sorry, the green glass with the blue dial, it is the one. They do the black as well, but this is just ridiculous. It's such a nice watch. That's actually one of my favorites in the collection. I'm so scared to wear it because of the bezels, the smooth bezel. So unlike a fluted bezel that you get on something like a Datejust or a Datejust 2, the fluted bezels, they can mark. So I wear that as a dress watch actually, as and when. And to be honest with you, I've never seen one in the wild on someone else's wrist. So really cool watch. Probably the Rolex I wear the most at the moment is probably the SD 43. It's my newest purchase with Rolex. I've had it for about 14 months and it is a fantastic watch. Really nice and big, but it's not too big. It's not too, you know, it's not too cumbersome. It's very, the nice thing about Rolex is they really get the dimensions and the kind of ergonomics of wearing a watch. So it's a 43mm, but it doesn't feel like 43 on your wrist. So I've got a 7.5-inch wrist, and it just sits really well on there. So a lot of people complain because of obviously the case back, as you can see there, but that's usually on smaller wrists. But with a 7.5-inch wrist, you're going to be tickety-boo. So that's kind of the kind of most worn Rolex at the moment. Again, like I say, very lucky. Bought this brand new from a Rolex dealer. Really nice guy as well. Proper bloke. And then yeah, I mean, like I say, buying these Rolexes, it's all about relationships. So if you can forge a relationship with a dealer, then you know, look after them, and in terms of just keeping kind of a communication line with them, even if there's nothing going on and there's no stock coming through, which is kind of what's happening in 2021 2022, then just always keep in touch. This is another stunning watch, blue dial again. So like I say, there's different types of dials, and that's one of the thing, and different types of colors, and that's the big thing with Rolex in my collection. This is probably the most worn. As you can see, there's plenty of scratches on the kind of on the bracelet, on the clasp, and on the bracelet. It's a sexy watch, the Yacht-Master, because it shares very similar dynamics and ergonomics to the Daytona in terms of its case, in terms of its kind of brushed and polished center links. Very similar in terms of its actual well, compared to my old Daytona, the stainless steel one I had, the pre-ceramic. Very similar characteristic, and again, a really nice dress watch, so really cool to have. Suit, all white t-shirt and jeans, really cool watch. Probably the one that, if I'm honest guys, you're probably going to laugh at me now, probably the one I wear the least is the Submariner, and that is because I've obviously got the Sea Dweller 43. I actually prefer wearing it, although this is such a fantastic watch, and I'm not even going to start, because if you just YouTube Rolex, the Submariner is probably going to come up as the most searched Rolex in terms of what's out there. Everyone wants to buy one, and I recently watched a video, and it was someone put really well put actually. They said it's like, you know, if you won a 3 Series, you should be able to go into a BMW and buy one. And these are effectively, if you look at the entire Rolex range, this is a standard, you know, kind of regular watch, but it's become obviously so sought after now. You know, I always think that stainless steel, sometimes it's become, you know, overhyped. They will be literally getting a gold watch and they'll be plating it with stainless steel at the end of this rate, because everyone wants these steel watches. But this is a 40 mil, so they've done the new one, which is a 41. A couple of mil, I think, a couple of 0.2 mil difference between the new one and then the old one. They've changed the lugs width, and then it's 0.2 larger, but generally a phenomenal watch for you Rolex lovers out there. You know, we know what this is: ceramic bezel, perfect watch for dressing, casual. It's the go-to daily. So very lucky again to have that. Bought that new from my AD as well. Explorer 1. I actually bought this used, and I paid quite a premium for this, but I got the timing right. I bought this kind of September 20. So very lucky, because I actually paid a lot of money for this back then, when bearing in mind they were only 5.5, 6 days, I think 5.5, 6,000 retail, I think 5.7, something like that. I actually paid 7k for this, which you think is actually quite a lot of money for a, you know, an entry Rolex, which is what it is. I mean, it's got everything, the Explorer 2. It's got the dimensions, one of the most elegant Rolexes that can sit on your wrist, probably with the Milgauss and the Datejust. It's just beautifully weighted. Look at the size of the watch. It's perfect as a 39 mil, and that's why the AP Jumbo is so popular now, because it's not too big, not too small. And obviously, if you know your Rolexes, they've discontinued this watch now, so they do not make a 39 mil Explorer 1 anymore. They make a 36 mil, and that has meant that in a good way, I suppose, the residuals of these have increased by about 40%. So although I paid 7,000 for it, I didn't know it was going to be discontinued. I was very lucky. And obviously now it's the values of these have shot up again. They're quite similar to what a Milgauss is, you know, in terms of 9.5, 10,000 you know, GBP. So again, very nice watch, all brushed, kind of proper tool watch, basically proper tool watch. And again, very nice, sits nicely with the Milgauss as well. And then your last kind of stainless steel sports is the Polar 2. Again, very lucky I got this, brand new from an AD, and this is, guys, all been done over the last 6 to 7 years. So I normally, if I'm lucky, I can get one a year, and I know, like I say, some people don't get that, but I've been lucky enough to have them. So I have bought a couple of pre-owned there, which, like I say, so they're not all from AD, so please take that into consideration. I'm not getting a phone call every month or anything like that. This is just hunting around and making some kind of shrewd kind of buying decisions. But I was lucky to buy this new, very cool watch. I love the black as well. The more I look at the black, the more I want one as well, but let's not be greedy. Let's be happy, shall we, with a Rolex. So it's a Polar 42 mil, love the orange dial, and I always say that it sits really well with a Milgauss. So if you were to have 2 of these collection, probably these would be the 2, in terms of one for kind of a more dressy watch, one for a kind of more kind of less formal attire, but equally just a phenomenal bit of kit. You know, this, what's mad about this watch is that they've obviously changed the, they all thought this was going to be discontinued. It hasn't. They've actually changed the lug size and the bracelet very slightly. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell unless you had them side by side. And this is, again, another example. You know, I bought this for retail 2 or 3 years ago for £6,000, I think, something like that. They've now shot up because a lot of the grey market, I think, decided, oh, well, let's speculate on if it's been discontinued. It wasn't discontinued. And actually now this has become another watch that, you know, was in the windows 4 or 5 years ago, and now you've got to either wait 2 or 3 years to get it, or never, or you go grey and you get it online, you know, on the market for kind of £10,000-ish. So kind of nuts really where it's going. But like I say, very fortunate to have these and keep collecting them as well. So very, very fortunate. And luckily I've not had to sell them yet, so and I don't intend to either. One of the prettiest Rolexes that are produced is the Datejust. This is again a stainless steel. One of these is now something that you could just buy like a Submariner 6-7 years ago. Now again, even you've got to buy a kind of have a buy-in history. So absolutely crazy really. I bought this used. I bought this is a 2014 model, I think, something like that, 2015 model. So I bought it pre-owned, about a year old, because they didn't make it anymore. They actually stopped making it in 2015. They only made them for about 4 or 5 years, and then basically the Datejust 41mm came out. So just very similar watch, but a couple of dial differences, etc. But very happy. One of the dailies as well. So actually, out of the 2 Rolexes I wear the most, this is one. Again, just like the Yacht-Master and the Sea Dweller, scratches where you can see them. But I do like the fleeter bezel because it does hide the scratches. But yeah, this is another great daily. Worn this to loads of really nice formal events. Not too flashy either. Really, really subtle. Not too blingy. So very lucky again. Talking of bling, here we go. The first kind of non-stainless bimetal. Bought this because I have to say I saw loads of reviews and spent a lot of my time on YouTube, like most lads do, I suppose, looking at watches and stuff and seeing what people say. This is a really cool watch. I am not a massive gold fan, but then I've been changed my mind, and since I've bought this, I've actually bought a couple of more rose gold watches. So just seeing what you can get away with. You know, I'm not a old and not a young guy, but I can get away with this just I'm just under 40 years old, so I can get away with this. I don't think you could do maybe a 20-year-old or something like that, maybe not, but I think just about the right time in my life that I could justify it as well. One of the most expensive watches I've ever bought as well, because they're not cheap. And similar situation to this, they are, I think they're £12,500 now, something. They've just gone up in January, and they're going on the kind of grey market for 30-40% more. So I thought it was a good investment as well, but also just a really fun watch, just a really cool watch. This is my holiday watch. Really cool. So yeah, really very excited with this. I've had it 18 months, so again, had it a while. This is actually also, if you're ever going to buy one of these guys, just to let you know, hopefully you can see the rose gold on it. I mean, they call it ever rose gold. I mean, it's a beautifully well made watch. Just be careful because the rose gold kind of just does scratch because it's a polished finish. So just be wary. And they do say about the kind of bezel being off center, but I really don't give a crap about that, to be honest with you. I really love the watch. So yeah, so that kind of ties up the Rolex bits. But yeah, I've been collecting for 6 years, and it's got to kind of a nice stage now, I suppose, where you know, I've been lucky enough to collect them all. So yeah, cool, very happy. Couple of things on the list. Obviously I'd love a Daytona. Probably never going to happen, but you never know. I'd love a James Cameron, just because having a blue blacky dial would kind of suit this blue black kind of collection anyway, so it's a different dial, so that's what I'd like. And I'd love a Sky Dweller with the black face. So if there's any ADs listening and you've got a Sky Dweller black or James Cameron, let me know. I'd love to buy it. Next, what else have we got? Okay, big fan of I've done of this now. Very special watch. This is one of my most recent purchases. So I've had this 3 months, I think, something like that. Not very long at all. It's a Breitling B01. So it's the in-house Breitling movement that they made, not an ETA movement. Navitimer. So Navitimer 43 millimeters. It doesn't sit like a 43 mil on the wrist because it's really nice and slim. They're not a big fat chunky watch. So, you could get away with one of these with a 6.5, 7 inch wrist. This is, I've got 7.5, so it sits really well, really lovely, elegant, which elegant and Breitling don't always go together because they do make some kind of macho watches, but super cool. And yeah, man, loving it. So that's my newest acquisition in terms of the luxury range. I have done a video briefly on this watch here. This is a Seiko, so the only non-Swiss watch I own, apart from my old Seiko, but I didn't justify hitting the collection. But really, this is my kind of watch I wear to work now. Just done a review on it. Check it out online on YouTube. And obviously click and hit the subscribe button, guys. I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm not there yet with the pros and all that. But yeah, if you like these reviews, obviously click and like them. But yeah, that's a really cool watch for what I wear daily. 42.5 mil automatic movement diver's watch. Absolute, I'm going to beat this to the living daylights, and I'm going to do a review in a year and see what it looks like. It's got a ceramic bezel as well, so quite impressed with that. Good, and 350 quid. So I think it's 550, 600 pound model watch, where you can get online on was it Goldsmiths or Watches of Switzerland, but you can get this. I bought this from Goldsmiths in the sale for 350 quid. Absolute bargain. The only thing I don't like about it is the box, but who cares. And then last but definitely not least are the two Zenith watches. Now, I'll be honest with you, these are the two most underappreciated watches I think on the market. This is actually, over the last 6 months, I would say, had a load of traction on Facebook, on YouTube, in terms of people doing videos. A lot of comparisons with, all the kind of integrated stainless steel model watches. So AP Royal Oak, I wouldn't say the Nautilus because the style of it is very kind of Gerald Genter-esque. In terms of the kind of, obviously, the ergonomics of the watch. But this has received some amazing kind of positive feedback, and people absolutely love it. One of the things I love about it is it weighs 105 grams, so it literally weighs nothing. It's made of grade 5 titanium, and I've done a review on this. Check it out online. It is literally, look at the bracelet. I mean, that is just the way they've been able to brush the actual titanium and also get the polished ends. That is just outrageous. Oh sorry guys, I'm trying to get the actual shot here, but it's not getting to focus. But in terms of the value, this is insane. So you could buy 6 of these for 1 AP. It is nuts. This retails at £6,700. Buy one now, because you won't be getting discounts like what you can get at the moment in 2 or 3 years time, when everyone changes their mind and wants to kind of just buy a watch for the fun of it. This will be one of the really cool, shrewd investments, I think. Beautiful watch. Yeah, okay, there's a couple of things. There's no half link, so unless you've got a perfect size wrist, which it's okay for me, it sits really well at 41 mil. But if you've got a slim wrist, then you're probably going to struggle. Your hairs do get a little bit what-you-call-it in it, but I don't care. I love it. It's one of the coolest watches I own, if not the coolest. It's got one of the most amazing anti-reflection crystal sapphires that I've seen on any watch. Even watches that cost 3 or 4 or 5 times the value. It is insane. The skeletonized dial, Everything about it, even the kind of crystal sapphire back, is unreal. So if you want to watch for less than £5,000 or $8,000 or whatever it is, $7,000, this is probably the best value for money you can get. And like I say, it's an integrated sports watch. So if you're looking at, I don't know, a Vacheron Constantin that are going for kind of crazy money now, AP, anything like that, please consider this, because I think genuinely, I should be getting paid for Zenith to be talking about it like this, but I think they're just such good value for money. So yeah, one of the coolest watches, if not the coolest I own, and very lucky to have it as well. So super cool watch. And the thing with Zenith is, if you buy one, you get a really cool travel case with it. So this is actually the kind of travel case, and what it can do is it actually sits in the main box itself. It's a super cool kind of, if you want a really cool watch box as well when you're buying a watch. Zenith, Panerai, Omega still make, I think, the best watch boxes, but Zenith probably make the coolest in terms of the fact that you can port your watch, the portability, you can take it away with you, etc. Very cool. So that's that. And the kind of final one, and again, probably in the collection, this is my wife's favourite piece, is this beautiful Zenith El Primero chronograph, 42mm. It is amazing. I mean, literally, this watch I was really lucky to get, because I think they've just stopped making it now. I'm just trying to show you the anti-reflection on the Zenith watches, because they're just stunning. Just a really stunning watch. It came with a brown leather strap. I've done a review on this as well, but I bought the black rubber, because unlike the Seiko, because I am not the biggest fan of rubber straps, but on this watch with the gold deployment, it comes with 2 rubber holders, so it sits really well. Absolutely stunning. Silver kind of dial, and the blue anthracite and silver kind of sub dials. Absolutely gorgeous watch. And wherever you go, someone always says about this watch, if you go to any formal event or anything like that, it is truly a unique piece. Don't make that many of these. You know, you might see some Zenith and titanium and stainless steel. A rose gold Zenith 42mm, I think they're about 15k now, these are, and very privileged. I mean, look at the inspection on the back of that sapphire crystal case back, it's outrageous. This is one of the special movements, El Primero. So unlike any of these watches here, I think even the Breitling is B101, that's got a 70-hour reserve, but it's a 28,800 vibrations per hour. All of these watches are. This is 36,000 vibrations. So in terms of like what I think about engines in cars, it's very similar. This would be your kind of Bugatti or bloody Ferrari engine. You know, it's a kind of high beat movement. Yes, they require servicing, but they're not as bad as you think. They actually have a silicon, a silicon wheel on these, and it means that it reduces your servicing from like 3 to 5, and instead it's 5 to 10. So if you wear it, you can get service every 10 years, and it's fairly inexpensive to service these, about £500 to service. So very lucky again to have this in my collection, and just very lucky to buy it at the right money as well. Bought it brand new from Watches of Switzerland. Tiny discount on it as well, which I was very happy with. But overall, stunning watch. That is it, guys. That's the collection for 2022. That's where we stand. Couple of things I'd like to do this year. Probably get, if I could, I'd love to get a James Cameron. Let's see if that happens. I'd love one if I could. Really would like that to kind of complement the stainless steel Rolex. They've also done another couple of Defy ranges in the Zenith, so a chronograph of that, which has got quite a similar movement, but with a very special kind of second escapement, ridiculous watch. And then yeah, see what we can do in terms of getting a getting a sea dweller and deep sea, and maybe even a sky dweller in a couple of years' time. But thank you guys very much for watching, and hope to hear some comments, and yeah, have a good 2022.